Lock your doors because it is hibernation season. It is the time of the year that us introverts rise and we thrive. We are actually given the excuse to be able to stay indoors and not really do anything, and it's not really that big of an issue. Now, I know that Christmas is coming up and there's social commitments and things like that, but I feel like generally, on the whole, it is the perfect time for us to really just knuckle down and focus on ourselves, focus on becoming the best versions of ourselves. And this is the time of the year where there's no pressure on it either. I know that with New Year's goals, you've got the pressure of like,
oh, I want to get summer body ready and
all the pressures of summer and things like that. But this is a time of the year where there's no pressure. You can just play around, see how these things fit, see if they work for you, see if they don't, and just have fun with it. I absolutely love making the most of this hibernation season and this self-isolation season. I don't know about any of you guys, but I have felt such a strong calling to just isolate myself a little bit from the world and connect truly with myself and figure out what I actually want before 2024 rolls around. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips that are going to help you in disappearing and coming back absolutely glowing and radiant in time for 2024. Okay, before I begin, I need to show you my new candle. Oh my goodness. This is healing my inner child. London at Christmas is just so nostalgic for me. Oh, I want to live there. Putting this here as a way of manifesting me moving to London because it's gonna happen. Anyway, this video is essentially like a part 2 to, I don't even know what the video is called, but it was basically about focusing on yourself and the tips that you need to do in order to get a head start in time for 2024. This is part 2, essentially. So let's get straight into it. Tip number 1, social media hiatus. I mean it, guys. I know I say it every single time and I must sound like a broken record, but I genuinely feel like social media is the thing that gets in the way of me being the best that I can possibly be. Also, if you can hear blustering winds in the background, it's Storm Debbie currently. It's very inconvenient, but we've got to keep it pushing. But yes, social media break, completely coming off it. Now, when I say completely coming off it, I don't really count YouTube, and I don't count Pinterest, and I don't count Instagram, only because my Instagram is completely private and I only go on there to follow people who I want to see and who make me feel good and lit up inside. But this is what I mean. I feel like anything where it's unintentional social media scrolling, such as TikTok, and just anything that sets you up to kind of doom scroll and be on it for hours and hours with no rhyme or reason. I've had to delete TikTok cold turkey because as much as I really promote social media use in an intentional way when you're learning from it and you're using it for a purpose, I don't think you can do that with TikTok, because I will go on TikTok and I'll want to type in something, a specific kind of video, so I can be intentional with my scrolling, and in that 0.5 seconds that it takes for me to just go onto the app and then click onto the search bar, I will see that hook of that first TikTok which will catch my eye, and I need to find out what's going on next. I need to watch the whole thing. So TikTok's a no-no for me, but I feel like, just as a rule of thumb, we really need to just ease off of social media a little bit and not have it be our whole entire lives. I spoke about this in my last video, but I feel like there is such a collective awakening that is making us want to connect with ourselves and not listen to all the external noise. If we're listening to all the external noise, we're not listening to ourselves and what we truly want and what we need in order to get to where we want to be. So instead, because with all of this free time now that you're not on social media, you're probably going to be a little bit bored. So I would suggest in this free time, using it to really intentionally build yourself up. Listen to educational podcasts. I highly recommend, oh my god, this is my new obsession at the minute, but Diary of a CEO with Stephen Bartlett. I'm so obsessed with that podcast. I love it so much. Like, I kind of listened to it before, but now I'm really into it. I love it so much. Anything like that is going to have you learning things, even going on YouTube and looking for TED Talks or educational YouTube videos. That is what I call intentional time being spent. I feel like I really need to emphasize the importance of intention and how important intention actually is, because yes, you can go on social media, but being intentional with it really just takes it to a whole different dimension, because you are getting what you need from it and you are not having your day dictated by it. if you know what I mean. So apps like TikTok, you're just scrolling and it's all these 10-second videos and they're just kind of, they're all so different and it's just a little bit confusing. So yeah, I'm really slating TikTok. I don't hate TikTok. I actually really love TikTok, but I find it not to be serving me at the moment because I do just get addicted to it and I don't have time for that shit at the minute. Another thing that you can fill your time with is creative expression. So finding a hobby or something like that. Not even a hobby, like, I mean, I guess a hobby, but something that is going to get you into the flow state and it's gonna get you expressing all of your creativity juices and things like that. I am loving at the minute colouring. Oh my god, I love colouring so much. It is so therapeutic to me, and I completely forgot, like obviously in school I love to colour, like it was a really fun activity to do and I loved it, but I feel like we all just fill our time up with social media and we don't give ourselves time to do the things that really would light us up and light up our inner child. So let me show you my colouring book. How cute is this, guys? Oh my lord, I love it so much. And right, my colouring skills are not the best, but this is what I've been doing. This has been my little my little project, and I just love it. It gets me into flow. I'll put on some binaural beats or something like that, and it really just gets me into that creative flow state, which is so important when you are a creator and you're creating YouTube videos, or if you have a job that needs you to be creative. It is so helpful because it just drowns out all the rest of the external noise, and it just allows you to just fully be with yourself and be with your own thoughts and relax. It's like a form of therapy. I love it. Okay. Also, using this time to read. You know, the things that you really are interested in, or even the books that you always say, oh, I would love to read that, or so-and-so talks about that, I would love to know what's in that book. I would love to be able to talk about that book to people. This is the time. Honestly, guys, when you cut out social media, you are genuinely going to find that you have so much time on your hands. It's a joke. And I don't know if this is just me. I feel like maybe I'm probably one of those people who falls under the category of being chronically online. And I think that's a result of me just not having my tribe in real life. Like, I've not really met my people yet. So as a form of finding company and not being so lonely, I do resort to social media because I feel like I can connect with people, or I can tune into people who are on my same wavelength. So yeah, maybe you guys aren't as bad as me, but honestly, it got quite bad. But when you come off social media, you are going to free up so much time and you are going to feel so probably bored. But that is good. It's good to feel bored. It's good to embrace the boredom, because it allows us to get creative with how we spend our time. And I find that when I'm bored, I have the most breakthroughs, I have the most revelations, and the most ideas come into me. So I truly appreciate boredom, and just the quiet downtime I've really been appreciating recently. Number 2, inner reflection and healing. There is no better time for you to really connect with your inner child and your shadow self and all the different parts of you than now. It's the perfect time. I feel like this is a time of year where we maybe start to feel a little bit nostalgic. We probably feel a little bit more connected to our inner child, because I think that Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas, is just a time of the year where you probably have the most recollection of, and you probably have the most memory of from when you was a child. So I think connecting with your inner child, connecting with the parts of yourself that you push down and you reject and you don't want to show to the world, it's so important in just getting to know yourself and feeling just a lot more confident and lighter as well. When you're not carrying this load of problems and issues, you do feel lighter and you feel like you can take on life and not feel so weighed down. I've got a whole video on shadow work, which I will maybe put above if I remember to do that. And I've also got an inner child healing video, which is kind of an old one, and it wasn't filmed on this camera, it was filmed on my phone. So if you watch that, please don't judge me. I've come a long way since then, but I feel like the points still resonate, or the points still ring true. They are definitely helpful if you want starting points on inner child healing and shadow work. Obviously, there are so many other creators out there who have amazing content. Alicia Gogan is amazing for anything like inner child healing and shadow work kind of vibes. I don't really know if that's her vibe at the minute. I'm not too sure, but I know that when I first found her on YouTube, she did a lot of videos about shadow work and inner child healing and journaling, so definitely check her out. But yeah, I am in this isolation period myself at the moment, and I'm really focusing on myself, and this is definitely something that I'm doing right now. I have been so tapped in to myself and connected with myself the past week, and it feels so good. I feel so much happier. I feel so much more myself for the first time in so long. If you'd have watched my last video, I talk all about that and how I've been feeling and opening up about everything, but I just feel so much lighter. I feel so much happier, and I'm actually starting to feel more like myself. And I do feel like I owe it a lot to inner child healing and doing shadow work and just really getting to know myself, really checking in with myself and seeing if I'm okay. Now that leads on to point 3, which is to get quiet and connect with yourself. I keep doing loads of video plugs, but I did do a video on this. It's called, guys, I never remember what my videos are called, but it's, I think the thumbnail says like comparison, and it's about like doom scrolling. But this is the time in this isolation period, in this hibernation period, where you really need to check in on yourself and make sure that you're okay. How are you feeling? What do you need? What does your body need? What does your mind and soul need? Really checking in with yourself every single day, checking in with yourself every morning when you wake up and every evening. I think it's just the perfect time to do that, because obviously with daylight saving, it gets darker a lot earlier. Like, it is 5:30 and it is pitch black outside. So I don't know about you, but it makes me feel like I don't have as many obligations and that I can really just use this time to focus on myself and connect with myself. Another thing that you do need to cut out if you are wanting to connect with yourself is to try to cut out the vices that you use. So for me, my vices are definitely food, like a cheeky sweet treat every now and then, and social media. They are definitely my vices. But I have noticed personally that when I'm using vices to escape from my life, and it's essentially me numbing and just pretending that things and my problems don't exist, I feel so disconnected from myself. I feel so sluggish, I feel so rubbish, and it just doesn't feel good, especially when you have the goals that I have, and I know that so many of you have. You have amazing, huge goals, because otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. And it's so much harder to get those things if you are letting your vices get in the way. That's something that the inner child healing and the shadow work will really help with, because it will allow you to get right down to the root of your issues and why you do certain things. And I have found personally that that helped me so much. Another amazing way to connect with yourself is to meditate, and really doing things, like I said earlier, that get you into flow, colouring, watching a cartoon, doing anything that would make your inner child happy and just feel a little bit at peace, and like you can just take a big exhale and relax. I do a meditation every single night before bed, and if not that, I will do it in the morning. And it's so crazy how much more clear-headed I feel and how much more in alignment I feel when I'm connecting to myself and to the universe. I genuinely feel so protected and so safe when I am meditating and making it a daily practice. All you need to do is a 10-minute meditation, even a 5-minute meditation if you're not ready for the 10-minute meditation. Just type it in on YouTube. This is what I mean, intentional social media use, and just add that as like a small daily habit that you want to tick off every single day. Even if it's just that, I highly recommend meditation. I have so many creative breakthroughs and so many revelations when I'm meditating. But if you can't meditate and you've tried it and you don't get along with it, I do recommend the colouring. The colouring is genuinely like free therapy. I mean, free after you've bought the colouring book and the felt tip pens or the pencils. Number 4, enjoyment. Do not feel the need to completely cut out and eliminate all types of pleasure. I know that I said about the vices and things like that, but there is a way that you can still enjoy the things that bring you happiness and joy, but not using them as a crutch, not using them as something that you need to lean on in order to get through your day. You can still incorporate pleasure and still incorporate the things that you love into your life, but you just need to, for one, stop being so restrictive with certain things. Don't tell yourself, oh, I can't eat any sweet treats because Sammy said so, or like because it's really unhealthy for me. Don't completely cut things out, because even though these things probably are unhealthy for you, you use them or eat them or do them for a reason. So I think if you accept that, you can learn how to kind of integrate it into your life without it being something that you heavily depend on. Now, I mean, it is different when it comes to addictions. I can't really speak too heavily on that. So obviously take everything that I'm saying with a pinch of salt, but I do think that there is a way to incorporate a bit of balance into your life. So don't completely cut out enjoyment. Something that I have found so helpful whenever I've had like an isolation, hibernation period is to choose a series, like a long series that I can watch one episode of every single day, and that can be like my one little outlet of pleasure in that day. And I don't know what it is. I think because if you're following like the same series, it kind of becomes like the, not the soundtrack, I don't know what the word is, but kind of like the soundtrack to this era of your life. When I was going through one of my most transformative self-love hibernation periods, my series of choice was Girlfriends on Netflix. I think it is still on Netflix, but oh my god, I love that so much. And that was like my little anchor every single morning when I thought, oh, okay, I can't be bothered to do anything educational now, I can't be bothered to meditate, I can't be bothered to do anything like that, I purely just want to switch off my brain. I would just put that series on, and it gave me something to look forward to every single day. It was so exciting. So finding something like that, finding a long series that you can watch during this period of your life, I would recommend any kind of hibernation season to last about like 2 months, 3 months, probably 2 months, I would say. Yeah, I just feel like that is a really nice little tradition. I think it keeps you anchored. It gives you something to look forward to. It gives you kind of like a bit of a storyline to this period of your life. And now whenever I watch Girlfriends, it reminds me of that time. It reminds me of that self-love journey, that growth period. It is one of my favorite series ever because of that reason. In my current hibernation season, I am obsessed with Thailand vlogs, and I'm watching a YouTuber, not that it's of any interest to any of you guys because yeah, but I'm watching a YouTuber called Paddy Doyle, and he's got a long playlist of Thailand videos and I absolutely love it. So if any of you were interested, that's my series, I guess. But yeah, you can't always be so switched on and hyper aware. It gets so exhausting. So having something like that you could just lean in on and just be like, okay, this is my anchor. This is my time for me to just not really think. I can switch off my brain. I can watch something completely nothing to do with me and feel great. Number 5, movement. Movement and exercise. I think this is the perfect time of the year to really start implementing a lot more movement into your life. And the reason why it's so perfect is because there is absolutely no pressure on this time of the year. When we set goals like this in the new year, it's often because we're thinking, right, I want to be looking skinny, I want to be looking good for summer, which I still don't really buy into all of that anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. But this is the time of the year where you can fully use movement just to experiment and just to play and see what works for you. Are you a Pilates princess? Are you a walking girl? Are you a gym girly? Are you a, I don't know, like a sport girly or like a swimming girly, I don't know. But just experimenting with different types of exercise and movement, because it is actually, other than trying to look great and lose weight and look beautiful, whatever, there is so much more value to moving your body and exercising than just vanity reasons. Since I started using movement as a form of therapy and making me feel better, I have completely changed my outlook on it, and I have been the most consistent I've ever been with working out. Working out and moving my body is now part of my daily routine. I don't even question it. I don't even think, oh, well, I'm not going to do that today, because I just know that it makes me feel better. I know that I am setting myself up for success if I am moving my body. And even if that's literally, and I say it every single time, but even if that's a 5-minute stretch in the morning, just moving your body. Motion is lotion, and it genuinely helps so much when you start looking at movement as more of a therapeutic thing. Especially something that has really helped me is yoga. If you literally type in yoga for any feeling that you're feeling, so yoga for anger, yoga for frustration, yoga for sadness, yoga for loneliness, anything like that. I even, when I had a stomach bug, I typed in yoga for a stomach bug. Lo and behold, there was a yoga practice for it. There is literally a yoga practice for everything. So start using movement as medicine and just get into the habit of moving your body without any expectation of any kind of results, because there's no pressure. There is absolutely no pressure at all. And I've got one more bonus tip, which is kind of irrelevant and a little bit vain, but I thought I would throw that in there because I feel like it's really important. But using a hair oil and taking care of our hair, this is the journey that I'm on at the minute. I am absolutely obsessed with hair oil. My hair has grown so much. I'm getting it cut soon, but it has grown so much, and it's all because of this. This is the hair syrup called rosemary. It's essentially like a rosemary oil, like a diluted rosemary oil, and it activates hair growth, does something. So every time that I'm due a hair wash, I will just massage this into my scalp and shove my hair in a bun, maybe leave it in overnight, and then I'll wash it out, and my hair feels so nice. It feels so silky, so soft, so healthy, and I genuinely feel like I can tell the difference in it just from using it, like, I want to say 2 weeks. My hair is so long. I love it. Anyway, obviously that was not sponsored. So finally, to bring this video to a close, I just want to say, don't put too much pressure on yourself to do anything in this time of the year. It is the festive season. It is a time where people are probably going out more. People are probably indulging more in things that we probably don't ordinarily indulge in. And there are a lot more temptations out there. And it is fun to do these things and take part in these things. So don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't give yourself this strict routine. Don't be thinking, right, I need to start getting up at 5 a.m. every morning. I need to start working out every single day. Like, No. We're coming towards the end of the year. You don't need to be putting that much pressure on yourself, but I do think it's important just to kind of have the intention to want to be a little bit better and to want to build these healthy habits in time for 2024. And just knowing that doing this is gonna make you feel so much better and it's gonna make you feel so much more prepared for 2024, but when you actually are starting to set your goals for what you want in life. So yeah, enjoy the festive season, guys. Soak up every single last bit of it. I'm gonna have so much more content around becoming the best version of yourself and things that you can do to level up and glow up. So if you are interested in that kind of thing, definitely make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those videos. Let me know down in the comments what you were most excited for about this festive season. Is it the cozy nights in with the Bailey's hot chocolate, watching Christmas films? I've already watched Bridget Jones 1 and 2 so far this year. I've not watched any of the Christmas films, but I will be. Or are you more excited to be going out, going to the Christmas markets, going on nights out? Let me know down in the comments because I really want to live vicariously through you guys, because I'm going to Thailand in about 4 weeks and I'm not going to be in a cold climate for Christmas. So I've essentially written off Christmas this year, kind of, but I'm celebrating it now. So if you're seeing me being all festive, and obviously you've seen my candle, that is why I am celebrating Christmas now, because I'm not going to be with all my family and I'm not going to be in the UK for the first time in my entire life at Christmas. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me. It means the world to me. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a like and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed and you want more of this content, because I have so much more to come. Thank you so much and I will see you in my next video. Bye.